What if one of the most feared things in your fridge wasn't the enemy of your blood sugar, but the method you were eating it was? Before you take that next mouthful of bread, crackers, fruit, or that late-night snack, listen closely because the appropriate type of cheese may help prevent a blood sugar increase, minimize cravings, and encourage higher energy after 60. But the wrong cheese, the wrong amount size, or the incorrect moment can quietly work against your heart, your waistline, and your type 2 diabetes goals. Imagine waking up tomorrow feeling less fatigued, less hungry, more in control of your numbers. Could you make a simple modification to your plate that would help protect your independence, your vitality, and your future with your family? Hang in there, because the third cheese on this list is the one that many people miss, and it may be the easiest to use at home. Before we begin, subscribe to this channel if you want practical senior health ideas, morning habits for seniors, energy after 60, healthy living for seniors, anti-aging routines for 60 plus, and the best habits for seniors at home taught in a calm, doctor-guided approach. We simplify down difficult health concerns into easy activities you can really implement in your kitchen, your morning routine, and your daily life every week. And now I'm going to show you 3 cheeses that may aid in supporting steadier blood sugar. But more significantly, I'm going to show you how to eat them without unwittingly converting a good option into a concealed diabetes trap. Here's the fact that most videos won't tell you: cheese does not instantly reverse diabetes. Remission of type 2 diabetes is typically associated with wider changes such as weight loss, activity, pharmaceutical support when necessary, and long-term dietary patterns, not one miracle food. The American Diabetes Association refers to diabetes care as a comprehensive medical and lifestyle approach. Mayo Clinic states that a diabetes eating plan aims to manage blood sugar, weight, blood pressure, and cholesterol all at once. But here's the surprise. Many cheeses contain little carbohydrate and contain protein and fat, so they could help limit glucose increases when used correctly. The caution is that cheese can also be high in saturated fat and sodium, which is of great concern for older persons with diabetes as the risk of heart disease is already elevated. So the question is not, can cheese cure diabetes? The true question is, what cheese helps your blood sugar without quietly hurting your heart? Stay tuned, because that distinction might well impact how you build every snack from today on. Why cheese can help blood sugar, and why it can backfire to picture yourself at the kitchen table after breakfast and 2 hours later your energy dives. You are drowsy, foggy, maybe even a little wobbly, and you think, was it the toast, the cereal, the banana, or just my age? For many grown-ups over age 60, age in and of itself is not the real issue. It's the pace at which carbohydrates enter the bloodstream. Those living with diabetes should be aware of carbohydrate quality, such as vegetables, whole grains, and fruits versus processed carbohydrates, according to Harvard Health. Cheese is very low in carbohydrates, so replacing a sugary snack with cheese or pairing it with a little quantity of carbohydrate may aid slow digestion and reduce a fast spike in glucose. Pause for a moment and think about it. When are your cravings strongest? Morning, afternoon, or late evening? That answer might tell you just where today's cheese strategy can benefit you most. But ignoring the other side of cheese could do your health a quiet disservice. The American Heart Association suggests keeping saturated fat to less than 6% of your total calories per day, and cheese is one of the foods they point out as a common source of saturated fat. Mayo Clinic also suggests that persons with diabetes avoid or limit high-fat dairy products, because the excess saturated fat can be harmful to heart health. So the rule from the expert: cheese can be helpful for blood sugar when it's low in carbs, managed for portion size, and chosen with heart health in mind. But when cheese becomes a mound of melted fat on white bread, pasta, pizza, or crackers, that benefit goes away rapidly. Think of your body as a slow-burning fireplace. The appropriate cheese can help moderate the heat. The wrong meal can throw fuel on the blood sugar inferno. And in just a few minutes, I'll show you exactly which cheeses are in that steady flame category. Here's the secret blood sugar mistake many seniors make. They consume cheese as an extra rather than as a swap. If you add cheese on top of a large meal of spaghetti, fries, white bread, or processed meat, you may not lower your glucose load at all. But trade that high-sugar snack for a measured portion of a high-protein cheese and you may feel more full and more stable. Diabetes, diagnosed or undiagnosed, affects around 40.1 million individuals in the U.S. in 2023, according to the CDC, and 115.2 million adults have prediabetes, meaning that millions of people are making daily eating decisions that either protect or pressure their blood sugar. If you're watching from the USA, UK, or Canada, this matters because diabetes is not simply a number on a test report. It's vision, kidney function, neurological health, heart strength, and the freedom to stay active with your children and grandchildren. And the first cheese we're about to talk about might be one of the easiest blood sugar-friendly switches in the whole fridge. Cheese 1. Cottage cheese. The high-protein blood sugar stabilizer. The first cheese is cottage cheese, and before you think it's old-fashioned, check out what makes it powerful. It's high in protein, low in carbs, easy to portion, and easy to mix with meals that seniors already have in their homes. Imagine opening your fridge at 3 p.m., when your energy is sinking and your hand is headed for cookies, toast, or a sugary coffee drink. Now picture picking a small bowl of cottage cheese instead, plus cucumber, tomato, cinnamon, or a few berries. That modest choice can slow down the amount of sugar entering your bloodstream because protein slows down digestion and makes you feel full for a longer period of time. This isn't magic, it's food design. A diabetes diet, according to Mayo Clinic, is a balanced eating plan that's designed to control glucose as well as weight and heart disease risk factors at the same time. So ask yourself honestly, is your afternoon snack fueling your stability or preparing you for your next crash? Cottage cheese is especially helpful because it replaces common senior snack traps. Many persons over 60 consume toast with jam, crackers, sweet biscuits, or cereal as they are quick and familiar. But quick doesn't always mean safe for blood sugar levels. If your glucose spikes after refined carbs, adding a protein-rich diet may assist to quell hunger and maintain steadier energy after age 60. The trick is to buy simple cottage cheese. Pay attention to the sodium and avoid the varieties with sweet fruit syrup. Here is where many people sabotage themselves by accident. They assume they're having a nutritious dairy snack, but the label may tell of extra sugar or high sodium. Imagine you're turning the container over and reading the label before it gets into your shopping cart. That 5-second habit could save your blood sugar and your blood pressure at the same time. And in a moment I will give you a simple, 5-minute cottage cheese plate that works for breakfast, lunch, or supper hunger. Here's the 5-minute fix. Grab a small dish of plain, low-fat or reduced-fat cottage cheese, top with sliced cucumber or tomato, and sprinkle with black pepper or herbs. If you need to, add a tiny quantity of high-fiber carbohydrate, like a few whole-grain crackers or berries. This transforms cheese from a random snack to a structured blood sugar tool. Harvard's nutrition source notes that cheese is nutrient-dense, offering protein, lipids, and minerals, but stresses that the dietary pattern as a whole is what counts. That is to say, cottage cheese isn't going to make a day of sugary drinks. And white bread, okay, but it can be one sensible anchor in a healthy routine. If you can picture yourself utilizing this in place of your regular afternoon snack, pause the video and remark, cottage. That tiny public commitment could be the difference between knowing what to do and doing it. But there is one caveat. Cottage cheese can be high in sodium, and salt is important if you have high blood pressure, kidney issues, edema, or heart disease risk. The American Heart Association urges individuals to pay attention to nutrition. Facts, labels, and select foods reduced in sodium, added sugars, and saturated fat. So don't just buy the first tub you lay eyes on. If you can, choose for lower sodium alternatives, keep an eye on portion size, and don't mix it with salty processed meats. The goal is steady sugar, calm heart, light body. That's the healthy, living for seniors version that guards independence, not simply glucose figures. And now that you know the first cheese, the second one might surprise you because it's commonly found in pizza. But, handled the proper manner, it can be part of a much smarter plate. Cheese number 2, part-skim mozzarella, the portion control. Cheese that can substitute for worse choices. The second cheese is part-skim mozzarella, and the crucial phrase here is not simply mozzarella, it is part-skim and portion-controlled. Many people hear mozzarella and instantly image pizza, melted bread, and a blood sugar surge waiting to happen. But the cheese itself is not the same as the pizza dough beneath it. Part-skim, mozzarella is lower in fat than many full-fat cheeses, has protein and very little carbohydrate. When used appropriately, it can help to provide a satisfying dinner without excessive servings of bread, spaghetti, or potatoes. Imagine a meal of lush greens, grilled chicken or beans, tomatoes, olive oil, and a small measured amount of mozzarella. Now compare that to 2 pieces of white crust pizza eaten fast while watching TV. Same cheese family, totally different metabolic action. What version do you think your blood sugar would thank you for? Here is where the expert lens counts. The American Heart Association includes low-fat and fat-free dairy products as part of heart-conscious eating, but also cautions that saturated fat can elevate LDL cholesterol and increase heart disease risk. This is important because type 2 diabetes is not just a blood sugar disease but also has a high association with cardiovascular risk. Ignoring cholesterol while pursuing lower glucose might be like to mending the front door while leaving the back door wide open. For seniors, the objective is not only a lower number tomorrow morning, the objective is safeguarding the heart, brain, kidneys, eyes, and legs for the years to come. That makes part-skim mozzarella a good stand-in for heavier cheeses, processed meats, or refined carb snacks. But it's an issue when it's layered upon ultra-processed foods. The cliffhanger is simple. The cheese is not the villain, but the car might be. Here's a visualization for you, a voiceover. Think about a tiny mozzarella plate that takes less than 5 minutes, a sliced tomato, a calculated amount of part-skim, mozzarella, fresh basil or dried herbs, black pepper, and a sprinkle of olive oil if it fits your plan. This provides you with protein, flavor, texture, and enjoyment without a ton of bread. If you want extra fullness, add salad veggies or a healthy protein instead of continuously adding crackers. This is one of the finest habits for seniors at home because it is quick, realistic, and does not involve any sophisticated cooking. According to the Mayo Clinic, a diabetes eating plan should assist manage blood glucose and cardiovascular risk factors, and this type of plate achieves both better than many processed snacks. Stop and think and ask, can this replace one sandwich, one pastry, or one late-night snack this week? But be wary of healthy-looking mozzarella dishes in restaurants. Caprese sandwiches, cheese paninis, pasta bakes, and frozen dinners may contain refined flour, extra sodium, and huge quantities that quietly overwhelm your blood sugar. That's why older folks often respond, "But I ate healthy," then have a high reading afterward. The problem could not be the ingredient, it might be the whole platter. A diabetes-friendly cheese strategy is situation-specific. What's under the cheese? What is next to the cheese? What size is the portion? When do you consume it? And do you take a walk after a dinner or sit for 3 hours? These may seem like little questions, but they are the dividing line between using cheese as a tool and letting cheese become a trap. And the third cheese is where the narrative becomes even more interesting. It has a creamy texture that people want, but it must be handled with precision. Cheese number 3, ricotta, the creamy alternative that can curb cravings without sugar. The third cheese is ricotta, especially low-fat ricotta, and this one is important because cravings typically beat diabetes plans well before dinner does. The sun is going down, you've been good all day, and you need something creamy, comforting, and just a little sweet. Many elders seek for ice cream, pudding, sweet yogurt, cake, or biscuits. But occasionally part-skim ricotta might be a better creamy basis in a tiny bit with cinnamon, vanilla flavor, or a few berries instead of additional sugar. The point isn't dream dessert, the point is seeking control. If planning a protein-containing ice-wee snack stops a sugar-heavy binge later, that's a major gain. Carbohydrate quality is central for diabetes eating, writes Harvard Health. Replacing refined sugary foods with more balanced choices is a practical path towards steadier blood sugar. So ask yourself, are your nighttime cravings emotional, physical, or perhaps just a habit your kitchen has taught you into? Ricotta is great since it seems luxurious without having to become a high-sugar dessert. But here's what you can't ignore. Portion size still matters. You can be satisfied with a tiny dish, but a huge bowl with honey, syrup, sweet granola, or cookies mixed together can become a concealed blood sugar problem. The American Heart Association advises consumers to pay attention to the amounts of saturated fat, sodium, and added sugar listed on labels, even if the item sounds healthy. Picture yourself as your future self, standing in your kitchen, checking your glucose meter and recognizing that the healthy dessert you ate wasn't actually healthy because of what was added to it. That moment can feel discouraging, but it can also be empowering. If you know the rule, then you can correct the mistake in 5 minutes. The 5-minute ricotta trick is simple. Put a tiny amount of part-skim ricotta in a bowl, sprinkle it with cinnamon and a few berries, if your plan allows, and eat it carefully with a spoon, not mindlessly out of the container. Cinnamon is not a cure for diabetes, and it is not a substitute for medication, but the flavor can diminish the temptation to add sugar. This is one of those anti-aging rituals for 60+ that feels modest but supports a broader identity. You are becoming the kind of person who prepares for desires rather than being ambushed by them. Imagine yourself enjoying a relaxing evening snack, and then waking up with steadier energy, clearer thinking, and more confidence in your choices. That's not quick reversal, but it is the kind of daily routine that can support improved long-term outcomes. Now let's bring this back to reversing type 2 diabetes, because this is where a lot of videos get deceptive. The American Diabetes Association's Standards of Care defines diabetes care as evidence-based medical management, and research-based guidance acknowledges that meaningful weight loss can improve glucose and may support remission in some people with type 2 diabetes, especially when done safely and early enough. But remission doesn't imply eating cheese and stopping medication. It means glucose levels improve to a non-diabetes range for a continuous duration without glucose lowering medicines under medical supervision. Cheese could aid that journey only if it helps you cut back on refined carbohydrates, control hunger, boost protein consumption, and maintain a healthier calorie pattern. That is the truth that protects viewers instead of deceiving them. And now we need to talk about the mistake that can damage all 3 cheeses. The blood sugar cheese formula. Pairing, timing, portion control. This is the recipe I want you to remember. Pick the correct cheese, portion it out, couple it with fiber or veggies, and use it to substitute a bad decision. That's the whole game. Plan. Go for cottage cheese instead of sugary treats. Swap heavy processed meals with part-skim mozzarella. Cravings occur, ricotta can replace sweet sweets. But if these cheeses are eaten with refined carbs, large meals, or salty processed meats, the advantage can be lost. Imagine you're creating a protective wall around your blood sugar. Protein is one brick, fiber is another, portion control is another, and activity after meals is the mortar that keeps it all together. The mortar is out, and the wall is fragile. Add too many calories and saturated fat, and the wall begins to lean the wrong way. Timing may be as crucial as food choice for those older than 60. A cheese-based snack may work better if it stops an increase in glucose or overeating later on, rather than becoming an additional late-night habit after dinner. If your morning blood sugar is high, consider whether late-night munching is part of the pattern to discuss with your healthcare expert. If your energy drops after lunch, your lunch may be missing protein or fiber. If you are starving at night, your breakfast was too refined or too tiny. These are not character faults, these are signals. Strong are senior health advice that empower you to read your body, not blame it. Stop for a moment and write signal if you can relate your meals to your energy. Easy blood sugar-friendly cheese pairings are the greatest. Cottage cheese with cucumbers or tomatoes. Salad vegetables with part-skim mozzarella. Ricotta with cinnamon, a few berries. Cheese and non-starchy veggies are generally better than cheese and crackers, crisps, white bread, or sweet fruit preserves. According to Mayo Clinic, optimal diabetes diet focuses on nutrient-rich foods and helps control glucose, weight, and risk factors for heart disease. Harvard's nutrition source also points out that dairy can be included as part of a healthy pattern of eating, but that the total pattern is more important than any particular meal. So next time you open the fridge, don't inquire, is cheese good or bad? Ask, what is this cheese replacing, and what is it paired with? That one query can save you years of confusion. Now here's the last warning before the bonus tips. Some people should be extra vigilant. If you have kidney illness, heart failure, uncontrolled high blood pressure, high LDL cholesterol, lactose intolerance, or you are on a tight diet plan from your clinician, don't make big adjustments without informing your healthcare team. Depending on the type and amount, cheese might be rich in salt or saturated fat or phosphorus or calories. Ignoring this might silently harm your health while you think you are doing something positive. And that's why expert-guided healthy living for seniors is seldom about one miracle food. It's about matching the meals to your body, your labs, your meds, and your goals. And in the bonus section, I'll offer you the simple cheese purchasing checklist that can save your bacon in the grocery store. The 10-second cheese label checklist for blood sugar conscious seniors. Don't allow the packaging to decide for you while you're standing in front of the dairy aisle. Words like natural, artisan, farm style, and creamy don't necessarily translate to blood sugar friendly or heart friendly. Instead, flip the package over and look for 4 things: serving size, protein, saturated fat, and sodium. The American Heart Association recommends reading labels to find foods that are low in sodium, added sugars, and saturated fat, which is crucial for people who have diabetes or are at risk for heart disease. It's like shooting down a secret salt bomb before it hits your fridge. That little moment in the supermarket could save your blood pressure for the entire week. Choose plain rather than sweetened, reduced fat, or part-skim when suitable, and portion-controlled rather than eat from the container. For cottage cheese, opt for lower sodium if possible. Select part-skim mozzarella and measure it. With ricotta, don't convert it into dessert by adding sugar and syrup or other sweet toppings. This isn't about fear, it's about accuracy. The older we become, the more our bodies reward consistency. Energy after 60 doesn't come from chasing miracle cures. It comes from doing small things again and over that take stress off the body. Imagine a breakfast, snack, or evening routine that keeps you steady enough to walk, garden, travel, play with grandchildren, and remain independent. That is the pledge. And one more strong habit. Try your own response when your clinician prescribes. Glucose monitoring. 2 people can look at the same dish and see different numbers. Your sleep, stress, activity, medication scheduling, portion size, and meal matching all matter. So if you track glucose, compare what happens after cheese plus vegetables, as cheese plus bread crackers. That little experiment might educate you more than any viral headline could. Diabetes UK estimates that millions of adults in the UK live with diabetes or pre-diabetes, and Canada also reports millions of people living with diagnosed diabetes. Thus, this is not just a personal issue, it is a public health issue affecting families across the USA, UK, and Canada. The more you understand your own response, the more control you can regain. So let us home in on this. The 3 cheeses are part-skim mozzarella, part-skim ricotta, and cottage cheese. None will suddenly cure diabetes, and none should substitute medicine or medical care. But when utilized properly, they can help you create lower carb, higher protein, more satisfying meals and snacks that may support steadier blood sugar, less cravings, improved energy, and healthier habits after 60. It's not just the cheese, though. The secret is the switch, the part, the pairing, and the pattern. If you just remember one statement from this video, remember this. Cheese helps your blood sugar only when it replaces a worse decision and fits into a heart-healthy diabetes regimen. Ignoring portion size, salt, saturated fat, and refined carbohydrates can quietly undermine your health. But using these cheeses intelligently may make you feel more fulfilled, more balanced, and more confident in your everyday routine. Imagine being able to move easier, feeling less driven by desires, and enjoying meals without worry 6 months from now. This is the future these micro-behaviors are seeking to protect. If you found this video helpful, like it now so that other people over 60 may get practical, realistic, and easy-to-follow senior health suggestions that are safe. Subscribe for more videos on morning habits for seniors, energy after 60, healthy living for seniors, anti-aging routines for 60+, and best habits for seniors at home. Before you go, tell us in the comments, cottage cheese, part-skim mozzarella, or ricotta. Which cheese will you try first? Your answer could help someone else take a first step today. Then check out the following video on this channel, since the next habit might be even more effective than cheese. The easy breakfast. Error that could be boosting your blood sugar before your day even begins.